Welcome to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Dr. Angelika Maria Koch with the educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. So today let's talk about physical exhaustion. Well, I don't know about you out there, but lately I feel a little bit exhausted and tired. To start with, here in New Mexico it's super hot and I'm just finishing up 2 major projects. And hey, we just passed the second eclipse of this month. So very emotional, intense month and also very transformative. Some of my patients are talking about it and feeling it. And so I thought this is a great time to make a video about it and share with you how you can pick up your dynamic life force again with natural and effective protocols. Before we go on, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family, and don't forget to have a look at my website medicanova.net at the online academy, where you will find fantastic home study online courses in first aid, homeopathy and quantum healing. And if you're interested in a personal health consultation either for yourself or your children, contact me at health@medicanova.net. I'm happy to help here. So you ask yourself, why I'm so tired? Do you feel like no matter how much sleep you get, you're still tired in the morning? Well, some of us can call ourselves really lucky if you get 8 hours, during the night. You maybe just welcomed a baby and you're up every 2 to 3 hours, or you worry a lot. Of course, a good night's sleep is very important for our energy reservoir and balance, but there's much more to this story. So in this video, I will share with you some possible causes which may be linked to you feeling exhausted. In my practice Medica Nova, the most common causes are adrenal fatigue. Now, adrenal are the little glands which sit on top of our kidneys, and they're part of the endocrine system. They're very important endocrine glands, and they even release about 50 different hormones. But adrenal fatigue affects about 80% of adults worldwide, so it's a real big epidemic. The adrenals, as I said, produce hormones, and these energy regulating hormones are called cortisol or adrenaline. But when you're under high amount of stress, and that can be physical pain even, emotional stress, you go through a divorce, or you just got laid off from your job, mental circumstances, worry, anxiety, which is so part of our modern day life today, your adrenals suffer and they have a hard time to replenish their reservoir, which they provide us so generously. Most of the time when the adrenals get depleted, they then look for the next friend to hold on or to latch on, and that would be the thyroid gland. So you maybe heard about primary thyroid disease and secondary thyroid disease. Primary is just when the thyroid gland is directly affected. But often I see secondary thyroid disease where the adrenal was initially the cause and dragging down the thyroid then as a secondary aggravation. Also in menopausal women, I see that the pituitary gland is part of that as well. So it can be a play with all the 3 glands, and therefore it's very important to find the best natural protocol which addresses individually all of these glands. Now, if you have a nutrition deficiency in iodine and selenium with the thyroid disease, that would be another indicator you feeling tired. So hormonal imbalances is huge here, especially with women, but also with men. Food intolerances, I can't stress it more. Diet, 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 right? So if you feel really tired all the time, you feel bloatedness, you feel like you burp all the time and your digestive system is affected, please have a look at gluten and dairy. You know, these are the two factors which often really drag you down. If you have or in your work environment where you're exposed to radiation and strong toxicity, like you're maybe in a hospital and you're a CAT scan or MRI assistant, you know, these are frequencies which affect your energy level. Now, of course, we have chronic fatigue syndrome, which is then really down, you know, a degree further from the adrenal fatigue syndrome. But again, here it affects 1 million people in the US each year, so it's something to look at. Now, these key hormones, what I just mentioned, increase and decrease according to the amount of stress being put in the body. And as a result, you know, high stress levels and adrenal fatigue syndrome in combination are closely tied here and can then result in the label of chronic fatigue syndrome. Don't underestimate sedentary lifestyle, right? If you sit on the computer so much and you know, you have then a stiff neck, you have pains, you have chronic headaches, all that, right, leaches out your energy. And I'm a prime example about it. Lately, you know, for the last 6 months, I had really strong neck pains caused by poor posture, sitting on the computer all the time. So I really learned how to take brain breaks, I call them now, right? So every 20 minutes, half an hour, I get up. Actually, I got myself, it's called a neck hammock. So you get it on Amazon even. So you stick it on the doorknob and you literally hang your neck into this beautiful hammock and you straighten your neck, and it's so good. It really opens the blood flow again. So simple things like that can really, really boost your energy level again. Now, lack of exercise is really a big deal here, because it not only affects your mood, you feel sluggish, you feel tired, but it also, you know, contributes to weight gain. Now, one of the biggest perks of being more active is that it helps people to regulate hormonal patterns, and we just talked about it. And therefore you get a better sleep. So exercise affects your hormonal system and it affects your sleep. So it goes like a domino effect, goes one into the other. We don't want to forget to mention depression or mood imbalances. One of the most common mental disorders and energy sappers in the US, they talk about 16 million adults ages 18 or older having at least one major depression episode per year. I mean, that is huge, and it's also very alarming. One of the most sort of strong symptoms of depression is lack of motivation, feeling depleted, you know, I don't want to get out of bed. All of that is literally an expression of being depressed. Now, this can be turned around, I wouldn't say quite quickly, but there are means, and it first starts with your diet. In this case, take away everything what depletes your energy. Gluten, sugar, dairy, processed food, all of that, and see how you feel within 3 months. I tell you, you will have more energy. So it doesn't have to be more expensive, doesn't have to be very complicated. Just start with simple life changes. Why? Because good food significantly affects the mood via the neurotransmitters in our brain. So your guts have a direct link to your brain. In fact, I'm writing right now, creating an online course for integrated mental health right now, and I talk a lot about it, that there's the brain-gut relationship, the connection. So what you put on your plate affects your brain. When we go further down, I want to mention leaky gut syndrome here, right? As we talk about the digestive system. What is leaky gut? Well, it's a condition which affects your digestive system, and it becomes very deranged. And if you think about your colon as a tube, suddenly starts to display small holes in the colon wall. And it's called the gut lining. Now what happens, your food propels through, so small particles that normally can't pass through are now being pushed back into the bloodstream. Now that's not a good idea. Now that could be maybe bad bacteria, it can be gluten, it can be maybe undigested food particles. Now when this happens, the immune system kicks in and says, whoa, I don't like you, who are you? You shouldn't be here. And it starts to become overactive. And that's why we have autoimmune diseases today as well, right? Like thyroid disease, for example, is directly related to leaky gut syndrome. And if you start healing your digestive system, entire digestive system, you also have a healing effect on your hormonal system. So leaky gut syndrome is caused by overprescribed medication, antibiotics. I would say eating foods which contain a lot of, they're called phytates or lectins, maybe you've heard about it, and that is any grains which contain a lot of gluten. Also nuts and seeds, you never thought about it, but if you soak them the night before, maybe in pineapple juice or water, then you bypass the lectin aspect here. Of course, any GMO food, processed food, refined sugar, all this fructose corn syrup. I mentioned thyroid disease, and definitely thyroid disease today has a direct link with autoimmune diseases in terms of Hashimoto. So when it comes to your energy levels, leaky gut is really a big deal, and it becomes very problematic. The reason is because you have a nutrient malabsorption. That means your body can't assimilate vitamins and minerals anymore, which you need in order to produce or to feel you have energy. In this case, I would say add the vitamin B complex group here. They're very helpful because these compounds, they help to turn basic food into fuel. So get to your health food store and get yourself certain supplements, which I share with you in a minute, plus the vitamin B complex. So the main thing is you reduce anything which causes inflammatory conditions within your digestive tract. And here I would say gluten, dairy, sugar, excess carbs, all of that. You want to bring in some supplements, and here I would say probiotics, L-GLUTAMINE. You want to bring in some pancreatic enzymes, which are based on amylase, lipase, protease, bromelain, papain. You want to bring in some, maybe some quercetin as well. Definitely good, healthy food. That is a good start to deal with leaky gut syndrome. Don't forget to drink more water as well, right? If you don't drink enough liquid, then you feel tired too. Look at your blood sugar imbalances, right? If you have a blood sugar imbalance, are you eating on a regular basis? Maybe have a little bag of nuts with you so you're not flaking out. As I said, poor diet is a huge deal here because it will affect your hormones. It affects your neurotransmitter, which makes you prone to anxiety and depression. It affects your sleep cycles, your mood, your general outlook on life, and definitely your motivation, your passion. Where is your passion? Right? So these are big deals here, but can be remedied quite easily as well. Now, before we go on into our protocols, let's have a look at emotional stress. I can't stress it enough here, how important that is to really have a look. Why are you so depleted? It could be because you just broke up from a relationship. Your pet maybe has just passed. You maybe moved residence and it's a hard thing for you, or your children are missing their friends, they had to start new school and the adaptation period is all very challenging. And right now we all go through major personal changes. Not one of us is excluded here, because that's the theme of this world, right? Old paradigm structures are breaking down, new ones are created. No one really knows where we're going right now. And so, yes, we feel exhausted because we are tired of change, right? We all have to adapt to change right now. So, emotional stress can take a huge toll on your energy levels, especially when stress progresses to the point of anxiety disorders or sleep-related problems. Now they say, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the US, affecting a whopping 40 million adults in the US ages 18 and older. That's about 18% of the population. And anxiety disorders are treatable, but can you imagine, yet only about 1/3 of those suffering are actually receive treatment, and that's not good enough. You at home can make a big change here. Start with your diet, talk to your healthcare practitioner, contact me, go into natural solutions. There can be a resolution. Now there are some, we call it adaptogenic herbs. These are herbs which you can get in your health food store, and they have the propensity to just balance you within. And I would here lean on to Ayurvedic medicine, and the herb which comes to mind is called ashwagandha. Wonderful herb. It's very important for women particularly who suffer from thyroid disease or adrenal exhaustion. Really nice. You maybe heard about tulsi, which is actually the basil, but it's a Ayurvedic herb. Wonderful here as well. You maybe heard about maca root, right? I can highly recommend that is here as well as ginseng herbal tincture. You also find that in your health food store. So have a look at ashwagandha, tulsi, maca powder, and ginseng herbal tincture. In general, for your supplementation, I would definitely advise you to get some superfood. I like the one from the American Botanical Pharmacy. It's called Superfood Plus. I take it for 20 years. It's not that I advertise this product or get something out of it. I just love it, so I can share it with you, the information. Superfood is usually created with algae food, like clamac algae, chlorella, spirulina, wheatgrass, all the green good foods which oxygenate your cells. So you want to have that. You can put that in your smoothie in the morning, really helps. You want to bring in some omega-3 oils more, right? They're hormone balancing. Definitely magnesium 300 or 400 milligram. You take that in the evening. That's really nice. As I mentioned before, vitamin B complex. You want vitamin B12, particularly if you're a vegetarian, vitamin B5. Also want to bring in something for your immune system, vitamin C, vitamin D3. We are mostly deficient on vitamin D3 today, and zinc, of course. And if you're iron deficient, I would bring in some natural iron based on nettles, or there's a product called PROBIOTICS. I like that. That's a sort of herbal plant derivative iron supplement, and it doesn't cause constipation, which usually the other products do. So that's a nice little tip as well. Now, hey, why not go to the supermarket or your health food store and get some Epsom salt? It's cheap, it works. Have some nice soaking bath, drain out the toxins out of your body. You maybe want want to add some essential oils like lavender or frankincense, right? All these little simple helps are so effective. And I cannot stress more, take away the sugar, take away the heavy carbs, don't eat before you go to bed, stop the electronic devices and all of that, right? But you know what to do. You know what to do. It's like you just don't do it. You just don't listen to it. I want to share some really great, effective and powerful homeopathic remedies here, which you can use in conjunction with these supplements and the tips I just gave you right now. That just boosts up the whole protocol. These homeopathic remedies you will get hold on your local health food store. I'm not making it complicated. They usually come in the potency 6 and 30. And that's usually the over-the-counter liability potency. Sometimes you get a 200, but most of the time you only get 6 or 30. I'm going to share them with you, and if you follow my instructions, I think you feel really a nice benefit and a turnaround quite fast. Remember in the previous videos I was talking about biochemic homeopathic cell salts or tissue salts that are called in Europe. And today we talk about PHOS. Comes in 6x. It's really, really amazing. It's affordable and it works. It's fantastic remedy for anything where you feel tired, exhausted, but also if you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, any mental and physical exertion leads to extreme fatigue. That's sort of the feeling of it, right? Even little work, even just going to the shop, just makes you feel tired. Extreme prostration, we call it. Weakness and tired feeling ensue from little exertion. They feel really worn out, and even it can affect your memory, right? You feel like you're forgetful. I don't know, I feel all foggy. What is this, right? So impaired memory. You don't even know what you want to say or what you just have written down on a piece of paper. You go in a shop, I don't know, I'm so exhausted. I don't even know what I came here, right? This kind of feeling. Stressed mind, right? And worries accompanies chronic fatigue a lot. I give this remedy for women who go through labor, right? Because their energy depletes all the time. So if you work on big projects, you feel exhausted, you feel depleted, take PHOS and look for the homeopathic, it's called biochemic Schüssler tissue or cell salt, PHOS. I would say 4 tablets morning and evening, and do it for a month or 2, and then stop when you feel more, you have, boosted up your energy level. And do it in combination with the superfood, for example. Right? It's really a nice combination. Another remedy you want to think about, and here I would take ARSENICUM album 30, it's called, not 6, but the 30 potency. This is a remedy which comes to mind when you maybe have food poisoning, or you have the 24 hours gastric flu and the bug, and you feel so exhausted because you vomited all night. But in generally, these people have a lot of anxiety, are very fearful, and they almost, anticipate that, oh my God, if I go to the shop, then I feel exhausted again. They hardly can stand or walk, and even the slightest exertion results in fatigue. And, lying down gives them a little amelioration, but not much. But as I said, every little exertion leads to utmost lack of strength and weakness. But as I said, they even have this anxiety and fear with it. PHOS doesn't have that. So the first remedy in line, without you consulting a healthcare practitioner, would be PHOS in my repertoire. Another remedy is called GELSEMIUM 30. It's the jasmine, and it's a great remedy where you feel so tired, where you get even drowsy, right? You start trembling, you have extraordinary fatigue, and with it comes even neck pain, muscle pain, you know, your hips, your back, your leg, your muscle achy, you feel very heavy, very drowsy. It's often the second stage when you have a cold, right, where your muscles are just so achy and you feel like, oh, you want to just go to bed all the time, right? But it can go into dizziness, right, even vertigo, right, when you feel so tired. As I said, there are different expressions of exhaustion, so look out for your individual symptoms, and if in doubt, contact me at health@medicanova.net or your healthcare practitioner. If you happen to be completely worn out and you feel like you lost the joy to be, you lost your passion, you lost your outlook in life, no motivation at all, and you have a mental and physical weakness to the point where you feel dull, right? It's like complete zero, and it impairs your memory, of course, even to the point where you feel confused, right? Difficulty comprehending. You just stay out of the window. We talk about depression here, severe depression, often caused by grief or loss. Phosphoric acid would be a great remedy here, and I would say 6x as a low potency. Take maybe 3 times a day for about 2-3 weeks as needed. Soon as improvement starts in, stop. You maybe be surprised. You can turn this around, and with change of diet, right? Take away the processed food, bring in homeopathic remedies which really work on the mental emotional level, and the body will kiss your feet, so to say. If you happen to have mental debility because which affects your memory basically, advancing to complete loss, chronic fatigue syndrome, even just if you read a book, start reading a book and you feel like, whoa, I feel so tired, I just fall asleep right away, like any kind of mental exertion, overstudying even, right? Extreme fatigue can even be in combination with headaches, muscle weakness again, like GELSEMIUM, but it's more sort of mental exertion. You want to think about picric acid 30. Again, 1 tablet morning and evening, maybe for a week. It just picks up your energy again. Often is indicated for studying, just reading stuff, right? Books reading, but you feel easily fatigued, even just by a little, if you just turn a page and you already fall asleep. Some people do it before they go to bed, actually, just to knock themselves out. I mean, I don't want to stop you doing that, but if this is a constant feature in your life, think about it. Now, with the next remedy, you maybe laugh about it, but it is a physical symptoms, and people come to me for that. If you feel complete prostration, extreme weakness after sexual excesses or seminal losses, right? Extreme prostration from sexual indulgence, it's selenium 30. Maybe think about that. That is a feature in our life, so I just want to throw this in. Now, if you happen to feel very fatigued and tired because of traveling, right? Particularly in hot weather, think about the remedy COCA, C-O-C-A. Also, if you're in high mountains. I personally like Arnica montana, first for international flights and jet lag, but if that wouldn't help, I would go into COCA 30. Again, usually the dosage plan with adults is like 1 to 3 tablets per day, maybe for 2 days. See, that makes a difference. There is another remedy which you will not get in your health food store, but I want to share it with you anyway. You probably have to order it online. This remedy is indicated for fatigue if there's no cause, you don't know what was it, right? So this remedy gives you power to sustain prolonged physical exertion without taking food and without the feeling of fatigue. So it's like an equivalent or substitute to superfood or therapeutic nutritional beverage powder, right? Which you take in the morning with your smoothie, but in homeopathic form. The remedy is called stercolia. Stercolia 6X. I would say 1 tablet every 1 to 2 hours, maybe for a day or two. See if this helps. I mentioned picric acid before in terms of when you read a book and you fall asleep right away. There's another remedy which comes into this study field called anacardium 30. But here, mentally tiredness is definitely more related to students and thinkers, to people who are literary persons who really go into high study, right? Exhausted by doing your PhD or doing your A-level and locking yourself up for a week and just studying. That is a great remedy for mental fatigue, right? Coming from overstudying. As I said, I mentioned arnica before. Arnica is my favorite here when you have physical exertion. Like, let's say you had a strenuous yoga exercise and you feel depleted the next day, or you had a residential moves and you feel all heavy and your muscles are aching, you feel tired the next day because you exerted yourself. Right? It's a great remedy for overexertion of the muscles as well as the brain. I use it a lot for jet lag. I mentioned before, international flights. Really helps me to adjust to the new time scale very soon. I think that's it today. And if you want a more personalized, natural protocol for feeling exhausted and tired, I think it's best to contact your healthcare practitioner or contact me at health@medicanova.net. As I said, I'm happy to help you and I take time and sit down with you. We can do it over Skype as well, or FaceTime. We can use the internet. That's not a problem. You don't have to be in person here. But I will take time to explore what are the causes and then create a targeted personal protocol for you. Also, don't forget to look at my website. Medicanova.net is another source to contact me. So till next time, much love and all the best in boosting up your dynamic life force again. Take care.